Tony, have you ever wanted to be crushed by a giant compactor while being in an anime? Tony, I have to start by making a personal apology to the year of 2023. I didn't play Hi-Fi-Rush until just after the year 2023, and if I did, Tony, this would be my game of the year 2023. Hi-Fi-Rush is so fucking good. I absolutely adore this game. So I basically got Games Pass at the start of 2024, and I got like a month trial, and I was like, I'm just going to play all of the games that I missed out on from 2023 especially. And there was a bunch of games, because I was asking my friend, what do you think the first game I'm going to try out is going to be? And without even thinking about it, browsing, I just manually typed in Hi-Fi-Rush and I installed it. I was like, I'm playing Hi-Fi-Rush. I have to play this. I was so excited for this game, and it did not disappoint me. I absolutely adored this game. And the more I think about Hi-Fi-Rush, I'll get into that. I should probably explain what Hi-Fi-Rush is. It is a action-based rhythm game. And it is so well made. Like, your characters constantly... I love how you walk in time to the beat. You click in time to the beat. Everything is to the beat. And it is done in, such a perfect way. And it has this great, it's Tango Gameworks as well. So it's they're trying to make the SteamWorld guys have a run for their money, because they're trying to just make a completely different game with a completely different genre, because they did, The Evil Within before this. And then they did...
okay.
Yeah, and then they did Ghostwire Tokyo, which I played last year, which I really enjoyed. Yeah. And now I'm playing this, and I'm like, oh, I fucking love this as well. So yeah, it's really great. But basically, the way it works is you can hit enemies out of beat, but hitting enemies on the beat, it deals more damage. And then when you parry enemies, you need to deal that on the beat, sort of thing. But yeah, the game's great. It features this system of, you go from this deprecated animation system where it's at a lower frame rate, so it looks more like an animation or a film animation, and then it goes into gameplay, and it's seamlessly, perfectly high frame rate gameplay at that point. So the game always looks gorgeous as well. I absolutely love how it seamlessly transitions from animation to gameplay. It looks great. But yeah, the whole time I was playing this game, Tony, I was like, I don't know why, but everything about this game makes me think of Ratchet and Clank. The entire time I'm like, it's so fast paced. It's so there's grind railing and platforming, high precision movement. There's great humor to the game. There's this great animation. And then I realized this game is a modern day PS2 game. That's what Hi-Fi-Rush is.
Oh,
and it's fucking amazing.
And to me, these robots, the eyes especially remind me of a Ratchet and Clank machine.
There's boxes you break to get bolts out of them.
Nice.
I think what is just genuinely so surprising and lovely about Hi-Fi-Rush is it's not only a great game in its own right, but it's channeling the spirit of so much PS2 games. Well, back in when the PS2 came out, people were bold. They just experimented and they tried weird shit. Yeah. And a lot of the time, it was really good. And they just don't do that anymore. Every game in this current generation is we're going to re-release this game. We're going to re-release this game. Oh, this game's not a live service game. We can't release that.
It's either live service. This is non-indie games, of course. It has to be a live service,
you used to get the innovation from the big studios. You used to have the bigger studios we're going to make some cool shit. Everyone was just trying stuff. And it's these days, every single game is well, the big AAA publishers want to make their shareholders happy. And then the indie guys are actually going to try something interesting.
I think we're talking about was it EA Originals? Is where it's in indie devs, but published by bigger games, or by bigger publishers. It's I feel we're kind of talking about that there, where it's that's kind of how it used to work all the time, and now it's in-house stuff. So this is kind of similar again, I suppose, in terms of.
Yeah, I had to be careful with the intro to this game because this game soundtrack has some licensed music. It literally starts with the Black Keys playing, which I love. Tony, I love the soundtrack. I love Black Keys. I love Nine Inch Nails. I love Prodigy.
Yep. Very,
like it's
good,
very like a lot of music I really enjoy. And I think, but the thing is, I assumed most of the soundtrack would be licensed music and they would kind of lean on that crutch, but a lot of the soundtrack is Tango Gameworks and it's really fucking good. Like the Tango Gamesworks stuff is some of the best stuff. Go! But yeah, like there's so much accessibility features of this game as well. Like when you start the game, it's like you can play on an easier mode where you can hit people off beat. There's like a visual indicator you can put on your screen that will be like telling you when you can hit the beat. There's even like a mode you can put on that will just let you play regardless of the beat. Like if you're not rhythmically challenged, or you are rhythmically challenged, you can still play this game and really enjoy it. Like I love the sort of accessibility features they added for that. I didn't struggle with this one. Like, and I played with a mouse and keyboard. I think for some sections, like there was some sections where you would have to basically press a bunch of buttons very quickly. I found that I actually switched to a controller for that section because it was a lot easier. But I found the general combat was like almost Sekiro-like, where I was preferring the mouse and keyboard. And there was like a parrying system, but it's not like as crazy as Sekiro goes, right?
Oh, okay, right. I was gonna say, they're just like a light in beat.
Yeah.
So did you wait? So what? I was gonna ask that. What did you have any accessibility stuff on? Did you just go play default?
No, I played like normal default.
Okay.
I was just like I'm just gonna play it how it comes, sort of thing, and I didn't really struggle that much with the rhythm stuff. So,
okay.
I think I've just been playing a lot of like rhythm stuff recently. Like I've been playing a lot of Spin Rhythm XD. Sekiro is a secret rhythm game. I've been playing like Trombone Champ. I've been trying to get more into rhythm stuff, and I think Hi-Fi-Rush came at a perfect time for me. I was like, I love this game, and it's on Games Pass. It's nuts. You can get like a month of Game Pass for free, and you can play amazing games like Hi-Fi-Rush. It's crazy, and it's like, yeah, these games just don't exist anymore. Like, also I noticed like all of the characters are mostly like named after food. You have like chai and peppermint and stuff like that, which I thought was quite funny.
I haven't figured that out. I think I only know one proper character, non-robot character.
Well, basically, you sign up for this program to get upgraded, and then your body gets fused because there's a company that is fusing robotic parts with humans to improve them, basically. Yeah. Then you accidentally go to the machine wrong because you have your iPod on, you listening to the Black Keys. And then your iPod gets infused into you, which means you start attacking on the beat. And you summon this giant like robotic guitar, and because you're a defect, they're trying to take you down.
Right. Okay. Interesting.
But then slowly over time, you start meeting other characters that are like, oh, the Vandelay company is not what you think it is. They're actually doing some quite evil shit, and we're going to try and take them down. That's the main story of Hi-Fi-Rush. So you sort of like you sort of like get together a group of ragtag people together slowly over time over like each level is like it's set up in like a level-based system where you go through, you have some story, you go to like a hub world where you can spend your money on upgrades, and then you go to the next level sort of thing is how it's set up. I think it's really well paced. I found the more I played in a row, the much better it was for me. Like if I played this game for like hours straight, and then I went away for a couple of days and didn't play it, I found myself struggling to get back into it more than if I sat and played it for multiple hour sessions. Like, I would really recommend, if you're going to play this game, try and play as much of it as once as possible, because I think that's the best way to experience, because you really get into get into the rhythm. There were several points playing this game where I literally said the words, "I'm feeling the rhythm," and I was just like, I didn't need to know anything else. Like I had the beat in my head, like I could feel it, and I could fight the enemies based on that. So the game's mostly split up into two sections. There's like platforming sections where you basically explore, talk to characters, and collect items. And then there's like the combat sections with these like small scale arenas where you build up a hype bar and then you can do special attacks. And that's sort of like the meat and bones of the game. It's pretty simple. Okay, I love the hint guy. So I immediately ignored the hint guy because I was like, well, I don't think I want hints. I think I want to kind of figure it out for myself. And then the next time I saw the hint guy, he ran in front of me, and I was like, okay, he keeps running and fucking in front of me. What does he want? And I talked to him, and he was like, oh, I'm just here to let you know I won't be giving you hints since you ignored me. And I was like, that's fucking hilarious. Because I ignored the hint guy. He's now passively aggressively telling me he's not going to help me in the future.
It's probably his natural character instead of just like a non-existent character. That
well, it surprised me how much like Easter egg stuff there was in this. Like they straight up have Seba from The Evil Within as like an Easter egg character, as a robot detective in this game, and that was something I was not expecting at all. Him and Sebastian and Joseph. The detective police duo from The Evil Within, which is a very different game to this one, which I played recently, like last year. And yeah, it's just so funny how they're very much like their characters, but they've somehow made them in a way where they still very much fit into this weird robotic world. This game is magic. I don't know. Like I adore this game. Like I think it is a 5 out of 5 game. Like it's a perfect game.
Okay, right. No issues.
No.
Perfectly executed. Interesting.
The music's great. The art is great. Graphics are great. Runs well. I love playing it. Like I just can't think of any negatives, other than I think you should play more of it. Yeah.
Is that how I just got a question is that how long did it take you to complete saying like play as much as in one consecutive?
Yeah, I believe I wrote it down. It took me 11 hours 29 minutes to beat the game.
Okay.
So not super long, but still, fairly long. So I'd say probably like 8 to 12 hours for most people, probably somewhere around there.
Yeah, that's pretty good then. Pretty again like PS2 sort of a lot of PS2 games with that sort of that length as well, right? Some of them a bit longer.
Yeah, well, I mean it depends on like a lot of PS2 games are fucking 80-hour RPGs, so
yeah, so they're very long as well. There are a lot of short ones as well in the roster. But no, this is.
But the basic like level structure as well. At the end of every level, there's a boss, and then basically the idea is you're going through the levels and you're taking out these big bosses in order to complete the game. I'm not going to go too much into the story. The story's pretty simple, but it is effective in what it does. Yeah. And I liked the characters a lot. I thought the characters were really good. Yeah. I love Hi-Fi-Rush. It just channels
It's a cat.
Yeah, Hi-Fi-Rush. It channels like PS2, even like fucking, I don't know, Sonic Adventure sort of game vibe.
Yes, sort of, yeah.
It's all about like good music, good movement.
I thought people that like the story and like the characters in it is like saying like there's
yeah, they're funny.
Characters with a lot of sass,
they're
but
relatable,
not annoying in a funny way. Yeah, relatable. Because that's kind of hard to do. So it's like it's a 5 out of 5 game with that.
If I was gonna say like what is Hi-Fi-Rush? It's just pure joy. It's just joy. I just felt so much joy playing this game. I would recommend Hi-Fi-Rush to anyone. It is so good. And let's talk about the next game I played on Games Pass, which is New Super Lucky's Tale. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Lucky's Tale, but it was one of the original launch titles for like the Oculus Dev Kit 2 or the Oculus Rift.
Yeah, there's the one that isn't it the one I said is like, shouldn't this just be a normal game?
played Lucky's Tale on my dev kit 2 for the Oculus Rift.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I feel very sick. And I'm like, I don't think I like the perspective of controlling a like a little platforming character with a controller and then using my head as a camera. But I was like, okay, I'll try out New Super Lucky's Tale and I'll give it another go, like not in VR. New Super Lucky's Tale is a really good platformer. Like it's actually, like it's not like award-winning in like a story or characters or anything, but the mechanics of the game are fucking solid. It's some of the best movement I've experienced in a platform in a long time. Like moving around feels really good in New Super. Like they nailed the movement in this game, and I think that just makes it such an enjoyable game to play. So this is actually because they initially turned Lucky's Tale into a non-VR version with Super Lucky's Tale. But then I believe that was piggybacking off the original engine of the game. And then they made like a DLC which added the Guardians Trials. And then they were like, okay, well, why don't we make new Super Lucky's Tale, which will we'll take the original game, put it in like a modern engine, put it with the DLC, and then release that as like a complete experience. And I think it works really well. Like when I played this game, after I finished it, I 100%ed this game, and I rated it a 4 out of 5 star. Like I think it is like just the movement and the gameplay itself is so good. It just elevates the game so much more. I think like the art is fine, the graphics are fine. When I launched the game, I think it launched in 720p or something. I was like, why does this look like 720p? It looks kind of awful. And then I was like, oh, for some reason it's launching in a super low resolution. Like it's still one of those. For some reason, it's still one of those games that you can't install directly onto your drive-through games test. You have to install it as like a UWP app. Which means you don't have full access to everything, but it runs at 120 FPS plus. It runs in like 4K resolution. Like it looks great. I mean, if Lucky's Tale had like if Lucky's Tale had more like a solid story and characters, it would be like a 5 out of 5 game for me. But it just has that fun, like, here's a level, here's a bunch of collectathon things, go on to the next level. Like Lucky's Tale is a really simple game. What's the word? When you do something really well, you're in like a heist movie and like, okay, we have to get this right the first time. We have to perform this. Don't worry, I'll think of a different describing word.
Okay.
But yeah, they just get it right the first time.
Well polished. Yeah.
Well executed. That's the word I was looking for.
Okay.
They've executed.
I'm just saying,
this game
when you say first time, I was just thinking that technically.
Well, third time's
a charm.
In terms of somebody who had played the original game on the dev kit too, and was like, well, why don't I check out the non-VR version and see how? Because I've had this game on my wish list for so long, and it was constantly going down to £5 on Steam or something, right? I think is its lowest it's been. And it wasn't until so recently I got Games Pass, and I've been like trying everything. I've been like, you know what? I never would have normally played this game. Like I would have stalled on buying this game forever on Steam. But it's like I have no downside to trying this game on Games Pass, and I found not just Hi-Fi-Rush I fucking loved, but this game especially. I gave it a go and I absolutely adored it. And yeah, Tony, I'm gonna say it. I'm in on Games Pass. I think it's a great system.
Yeah.
I got that month of games, and then I started playing Persona 3 right at the end. I was like, well, now I have to fucking finish this, and I've got another couple of months of Games Pass now, because I want to play more Games Pass. Like, I think it makes so much sense if there's at least a couple of games you're like, well, this would cost me like 60, 70 pounds to buy this game. Why don't I just play it through a month on Games Pass for like £8 instead? For somebody who doesn't replay a lot of games, this makes a lot of sense for me.
Yeah, I think it depends on what your exit strategy is. Like, if you don't want to care about replaying, then obviously, yeah. If you want to replay, it's like maybe
I almost
yeah.
never replay games. There's very few games I do replay, and that games are mostly about like I play Half-Life 2 like ritualistically every year because I adore that game, and most Valve games. So I will go and replay Portal 2, anyway, like any game like that. I will try and go back and replay like the single player Valve games, like the Portals, the Half-Lives, that sort of stuff. And
most other games, you're happy to
and there's very few games outside of that I will go back and like I replayed BioShock Collection recently because they did the HD stuff, and I was like, yeah, that was pretty cool. I played it on the harder difficulties when I went back and played it, but I was kind of like, well, that time I went back and replayed the game, I could have just been playing something new and I may have enjoyed that even more. So the way I look at it, like, when you replay something, you're getting a guaranteed good experience because you know you've already enjoyed that thing. Yeah. You could get an even better... you have a chance of getting an even better experience from something you've never played, and it gives you that better experience because it's new to you, but then you have the downsides of it could be bad. Like, it's risk-reward, trying new stuff compared to replaying it, right? And I think just the way I'm built personally, I'm just much more willing to just try things. Like,
I just feel like, to me, it's like it's not a it's not really a choice. It's just like, like I had this hankering for this thing, and that happens to be the new thing, or something like, I'm hankering after this old thing, and nothing else exists, so I kind of want to play this old game.
Yeah, but me and you play games very differently. Because if you look at our Steam reviews, it's like Joe played 200 games this year, and Tony played the same 5 games a lot. So you're very much like to replay the same game, and I'm very much like I just want to see what else is out there, sort of thing. So I think I don't know if you would enjoy Games Pass for that reason, but I'm sure there's lots of other people like me who would be very interested in trying it that way.
I would kind of treat it as I do kind of Spotify. I don't really buy music at this point, but I feel like I'm getting to the point where like I probably should buy like, if not albums, at least like songs that I actually like and want to like keep coming back to. But using Spotify as finding new stuff, because like that you can't do by buying music slowly. Like, you need to be able to like have this like easy access to like explore stuff.
What I've been doing is I've been buying a lot of video game soundtracks. So if I like 2022, I loved the Neon White soundtrack from Machine Girl. I went onto Steam and I bought the soundtrack and I listened to it all the time. I put it on my phone. And I just have that as like an offline song I can listen to whenever I want to. But I found like that's a good way to support developers who I think are making great games and great music at the same time by buying like video game soundtracks is something I like to do. But when it comes to general music, just streaming music is so much more easy than it is like downloading and managing like a big music collection.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I realized like the other day, it's like I do like finding new music, but like a lot of the time, I like the stuff I add to my playlist. Like I keep listening to.
I agree with you.
So I might as well buy them.
I think the area
support them better.
I think the area that's worst right now is movies, where it's like stuff would be on streaming services for a long time, but now it's like, well, let's watch this pretty popular film like Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Which streaming service is on? Well, it was on this streaming service, but now it's on this streaming service. Or it's like, but you can't actually get on any streaming service. And if you actually had the DVD, it would be a lot easier to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, so like I understand the other point of like having everything streaming.
I guess gaming's a little bit. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe there are films like you'd only ever watch once. But I feel like a lot of films, like if you really like it, you'd watch it multiple times. But I guess I don't know. Maybe films is a better analog for games and music. Whereas like I completely understand like subscribing to something like Netflix. Like if they didn't have the stupid like you have to be in the same household to like have multiple users, I would still be subscribed to Netflix. But like having that as like using that to like find new stuff and watching it stuff.
Well,
like,
we've been very annoyed by Amazon recently.
Yeah, they removed certain features that we used.
Watch Party, and they're trying to charge more for ads.
Yeah. But as an idea though, like being subscribed to a streaming service to watch new films is like, unless you watch it multiple times, like I don't own The Expanse, for example, but like I'm watching it for the second time with you guys, right? I'm probably gonna buy The Expanse as like a series.
Well, you just bought Star Trek, right?
I bought Deep Space Nine just before Christmas.
Release the Blu-rays.
Personal Christmas present. I bought at the beginning of the year, but only just now getting around to watching it because I didn't have a place to store it. It's like Columbo. So it's like I like owning stuff like I think are really good. I think it's worth doing, and also I think it sort of supports in a more direct way instead of like a weird, like in a weird like Netflix where they're only like really like supporting weird. I consider weird reality TV stuff like too much. It's like I don't. It's my money going towards. I know that's not really how it works, but it's like, it's my money going towards that. I don't really want it to.
Yeah, I'm sort of part of the problem because I like watching trash television. So I'm one of the people who like loads it up and watches the trash. Like I watched that Squid Game show they put out where they put real contestants. I was like, this is awful, but I love this. Like watching it with friends. But
if you're enjoying watching it, I think that's fine. I think that's perfectly fine. But to me, like all the sort of stuff that I want was like getting defunded. Like The Expanse was continuously getting like unfunded by Netflix, so then Amazon booked it. So it's just like the stuff I want isn't getting funded. It's like if I was actually supporting it correctly, like maybe it would be going better.
The way Netflix was doing their model was they were notorious for canceling a show they produced after like the second or third season because they knew after the second or third season they're suddenly go, well, we want more money. And Netflix is like, well, we're Netflix. We can just get somebody else to make another show, charge them less. And then when they want more money, we'll just cancel it. And people will keep subscribing because we're Netflix, right?
So it just meant like stuff that you wanted to keep going would continue unless it was a reality TV show, which would continuously be refunded or reinvested, which is just annoying. It was like, I just feel like using going back to what I was saying, like using streaming stuff to like find new stuff is fine. And then once it's like, oh, this is really good, I'll watch it again in the future, I'll then buy it. It's like my new strategy, and like I could see that for Games Pass, for games like using it to find new stuff that you may only play once but I could see that. I don't think that's what I'm going to be doing. I kind of like waiting for stuff to go on sale and then like supporting it directly in that sense and waiting for reviews. Like
for me, like last year, my idea was, I'll just subscribe to Game Pass for a month when Starfield came out, and I ended up not doing that. And I've had Games Pass for like a month and a half now, and I still haven't started up Starfield. I'm not that interested in playing it anymore. But my current thoughts this year as well, when the new Indiana Jones games drops from Machine Games, I'm going to play that on Games Pass. When Avowed from Obsidian comes out, I'm going to try that on Games Pass. Hopefully won't be another Starfield situation, but, you know. But, you know, and there's so many surprise games that have come out as well, because, like, I had no idea that Pal World was going to be this surprise hit, but I just loaded it up on Games Pass, and I was like, holy shit, this game's really good. So, yeah. And I think having stuff like Hi-Fi-Rush in your backlog is so important for a subscription like Games Pass, because that's an evergreen game, because they're always going to have that there because it's a Microsoft game, right? And then you want these games like... They just added Persona 3 Reload, which I've been playing like 25 hours of. And that's the perfect games for Game Pass, because I'm like, shit, I have to subscribe for another month so I can play more Persona. Xbox wants to put as many JRPGs on their system as possible, I think, because that's how you keep it subscribed.
I'm concerned that long form, maybe like, JRPGs and also there's something else that there was like long form. But in long form, like, it might become the Netflix like reality TV thing, where it's like, people who like it will like it, but it might cancel other stuff, which is maybe not so good, whereas supporting directly.
Well, because I know, like, I started playing Persona 3 Reload, and because I knew it had just come out, I was like, oh, this will be in here for a long time. But I went and I looked at Persona, because I knew they put Persona 5 and Persona 4 Golden on there, and I was like, well, I really like Persona 3 Royale. Can I play the other Persona games? It's like, well, they were on Games Pass, but they only bought them for a year so they could get people to sub for those games, and then they took them off, sort of thing. They were like, well, let's just pay for a year. And that kind of sucks if you started playing Persona 5 like a month before it got taken off. That would be like really shit for you.
I think it's particularly bad considering the saves aren't easily transferable.
Yeah, so that's something that
versions.
I've been looking into, and there is God bless.
There's at least
every time.
Yeah, the least third-party tools. Yeah.
Every time I'm like, man, I wish there was an easy way to do this, and I'm like, oh wait, this is the internet and GitHub exists. I'll go on GitHub. Somebody's already done it. I go on GitHub and somebody's already done it. GitHub owned by Microsoft as well, by the way.
Yeah. But that's how I've bought like Deep Space Nine and Columbo. Like I've used stuff on like tools that people have made online to be able to like take it off the disk and put it onto the computer.
Yeah. So the way save, because I was like, oh sure, I can just take the save files and move them over to Steam. They're actually set up differently. So you need to extract them, and then there's a third-party tool on Python called Xbox Game Pass Extractor that will convert them to normal save files through a Python code.
Right.
But it's not like a universal. I wish it was a universal solution, but it's not that easy. There's like a compatibility list, and basically there's a guy working on it, and he basically goes, if you want a game added, just leave a request in the issues section on GitHub, and I'll go and add it, sort of thing. So if you're like, because I think if you go in there now, like, I started playing Like a Dragon Gaiden, and I was like, oh, I don't know how long I'm going to be, like, if I'll finish this before I unsub from Games Pass. But I saw an Xbox Game Pass Extractor, that game, even though it came out like a few months ago, was added to the compatibility list. So I know if I started it, I could move my save over to the Steam version if I wanted to get it there. Because I was worried initially because I think the last time he updated it was in 2023, and I started it in 2024, like October 2023, and I was like, oh, maybe this is like an inactive thing. But it seems like Power World reinvigorated the project, because after Power World came out, he did a bunch of releases
interesting.
for Power, and then he just was like, oh, here's Persona 5 Tactica, here's Remnant from the Ashes, here's Like a Dragon Gaiden, Hi-Fi-Rush. So like I actually reinstalled Hi-Fi-Rush so I could extract my save out of it. So I have my save of Hi-Fi-Rush permanently backed up now. If I want, because I haven't 100% of the game, so if I want to go back and 100% the game, or I want to get it on Steam or something, I can either play it on Games Pass again, or I can input the save into Steam or GOG or whatever and just have it there, which I think is like a... Yeah, I wish they had a system to extract your saves easier, but I guess they want to keep you in the Microsoft ecosystem. It's much better for them.
Yeah. I'm concerned with the future of these things. I'm wondering if it like doesn't really make sense long term financially. Like it might make sense.
My only other gripe is I cannot play these games on my Steam Deck. Because that's running Linux. So
make it so you can run it on Linux. That'd be useful.
Yeah, I don't know if Microsoft
Xbox Linux Pass.
I don't know if Microsoft is going to want to add their Games Pass to Linux, but I mean,
they've made like Linux and like Windows compatible stuff in the past. Like if it might make sense still. I know that
we'll see. I mean, Microsoft is changing their strategy recently, where they've been like basically like we're releasing everything on PC, and now they're saying, oh, we're going to start releasing our exclusives on PlayStation and Switch and stuff.
Yeah. So maybe Linux is in the cards. We don't know.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully more people playing and more
because currently
detached from your system.
Currently, the only ways to play Games Pass games on your Steam Deck is to install Windows on it and run Windows, which is not a great experience. Or
I guess you
can subscribe to the higher tier of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and get the xCloud tier and stream the games from xCloud.
I guess an alternative way of installing Windows
from your
would be
PC.
to install Windows inside like a virtual machine on your Steam Deck is another slight different option.
I don't know if that would work. I think like dual booting as well.
It would work.
Dual booting's not really a thing yet. Like Valve hasn't really got that set up properly.
that's why I think a virtual machine may work, because that is something that installing Windows on a virtual machine in Linux is definitely supported. So whether it'll work for games, I don't know. But...
The big. I think I was watching like a Steam Deck focused podcast, and everyone's basically saying we love Games Pass, but we want it on Steam Deck. And one of the guys said I had an opportunity to speak to Phil Spencer, and I was like, you need to get Games Pass on Steam. You need to get it on Steam Deck because there's 3 million people who want to use Games Pass, but they can't because they can't run it on their Steam Deck, right?
Is it confirmed that level at that? I didn't know that was
I believe
sales at this point. That's
we
insane.
know it's at least like 2 million, right?
That's what I saw last time.
But I think I think it's like estimated at least like 3 million people have Steam, especially with those OLED models coming out.
Yeah. Because we know that the older stuff sold out as well, so like, people mess with
But one of those people who actually got into him, he was having lunch with Phil Spencer, the head of Microsoft's gaming division, and he was basically like, you need to get it on Steam Deck, and he was basically like, oh, I just play xCloud. And it was like, yeah, but as somebody who is almost always playing their Steam Deck out and about, having to tether my phone to my Steam Deck and then try and stream games to the Steam Deck is the one of the least optimal ways to play Games Pass.
Yeah, I would argue as well, even if that worked flawlessly, right? And like you could do that, it didn't have performance issues, didn't have latency issues, and like my issue there is like, okay, but it doesn't. I don't know. Having a better system, like installing it yourself, would still be better and more reliable. I would say. Like, what if there's? I guess if the services go down, can you still play the games that you have downloaded from their service? Or
if xCloud is down, no, you can't stream it.
No, but like in terms of like
because you can do stuff like
if Xbox Game Pass goes down, can you still play the stuff you have downloaded?
Xbox Game Pass has a offline mode, that works.
Okay, yeah. So I would still say like offline mode is still like a huge thing over xCloud.
Yeah, I would love to just natively run Games Pass games on my Steam Deck because a lot of them are already on Steam and are Steam Deck verified and run on Steam Deck, but just not the Games Pass version.
Yep.
Which kind of sucks. But nice. Hi-Fi-Rush, definitely check it out. Amazing, perfect game. One of the best games 2023. And new Super Lucky's Tale that comes with the original Super Lucky's Tale. And that's on the Games Pass version as well, Tony. So maybe I will go and I will play the non-Super Lucky's Tale and see how different it is. And, Tony, I still have Lucky's Tale on the Oculus Store. I can load it up on my Meta Quest 3. And I can see what the original game is like on the VR version as well, if you want to do a follow-up on this, which I think would be very interesting to see.
Maybe, yeah. It'd be interesting, though. I have my doubts of the experience.
But yeah. Tangerine on Hi-Fi-Rush and new Super Lucky's Tale and the future of Games Pass and digital media. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.